on about Hitman? I think we're back. Y'all let us know if we're back. If you've come back and you see us, let us know right in the comment section. But we're gonna start right where we left off. We're back. Sorry about that, people. Internet connection issues. But as I was saying, first verse, first round, Hitman came out hard. Hitman put him on his heels, and I have not seen Cassidy put those three things together in a round yet. Both the crowd reaction and interaction, energy, and the lyrics, all at the same time, right? And the rebuttals. I haven't seen him put all four of those things, or all three, you can put them together at the same time. And so I thought it was over. And when Cass came back, won the crowd, you saw him talking and smiling with the people in the front row. Then you saw him actually rebuttal what was said about him being an industry guy and he started talking about his battles. And then he started doing personals immediately. I have something to say about that too. But from that to the crowd, to that engaging with the lyrics of Cassidy, with his bars, I think what he did was he put his third verse last. He saw what happened. He saw how Hitman jumped out the gate, didn't wait for the coin toss, attacked him straight up, got the whole crowd going ooh for an entire 5 minutes. And he said, nah, no way. And I think he put his third verse first. And he ended up crawling out of that and winning that round. And I think that set the stage for Cassidy winning this whole thing 2-1, because he showed something he hasn't showed, that he's not just a rapper or a good lyricist. He showed he's a battle rapper who belongs in this arena. And I was starting to doubt that, as many of you know who watch this channel. To go beyond that, I'll let you talk about it.
I'm going to get into that.
I mean, I'll let you go. I mean, that's round one to me. Round two, I think your boy Hitman Holla lost the crowd. That didn't help his case. Cassidy didn't, even though the people were booing and heeing and hawing at completely strange and outrageous times, talking over everybody trying to rap. They kind of messed up round two. That sucked. And I think Cassidy eked out that one as well, just by getting the crowd on his side by the end and keeping composure, staying good. It wasn't like we just giving it to him. Like, he actually did good. But so did Hitman Holla. It just none of it landed. Round three, Hitman. He brings out the big guns. He got his brother coming out. A fight almost breaks out. And then he brings out his boss. Then he brings out his boss on stage, Nick Cannon. And I think it's hard to beat that round, especially when I believe that Cassidy actually took his main third round and put it in the beginning, which was the smartest thing I've ever seen him do. 2-1 for me. 1 and 2, Cass. Last round, Hitman.
I got Hitman 2-1.
Oh, you tripping, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. You're not going to give Cass the love after all of it, every time?
You know what's so funny?
Every time you'd be against Cass.
Now you're talking all this Cassidy. Nonsense. But when we had our prediction or what we thought about the battle, you didn't even want to see Cass. You didn't even want to see Cassidy.
That's what's so beautiful about it. I didn't want to see
that you didn't believe Cassidy even deserved the opportunity to take the stage again.
No, what I said was I didn't say he didn't deserve the opportunity against Hitman. What I said was I didn't care.
You want to sit here and tell me how Cassidy won?
Well, he won.
Well, I got news for you and anybody else who feels differently. Um, here's my take on it. This is why I say we have similar views, but different at the same time.
Round one. Explain it to me.
I didn't like the Atlanta crowd reaction. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. Um, a lot of times, and then again, here's what I will say about the battle. I felt like Hitman had better rhymes. I felt like Hitman had better schemes. I felt like Hitman had better punchlines. But I did feel like Cassidy. It did feel like Cassidy just overall had a better performance. It did feel that way. And a lot of times with battle, you could be saying some off the wall stuff, but as you just mentioned, if it doesn't really land, meaning if it doesn't if it doesn't resonate or hit the crowd to where the crowd and everyone at home can feel it the same way, then it just comes off as you're just rapping.
Yeah.
It comes off as though you could just be reading it right off a piece of paper. Like it just comes. And a lot of times throughout that battle, what got me is that Hitman had dope rhymes. It just seemed to be that in this particular battle, whereas in contrast, the Arsenal in Goods battle, Cassidy seemed less affected by whatever it was that Hitman had to say.
That is the counterpunch. Now,
so whereas in the Arsenal and Goods battle, you could tell that they were burning them, they were smoking them, and you could just tell by the reaction on his face. A lot of times, if you want to know who's winning or losing the battle, just look at their facial expression. And then look at their body language, and it will tell you everything about who's winning and who's not winning the battle. But yeah, in this particular battle, it seemed as though Cassidy wasn't affected by whatever it was that Hitman had to say. And like I said, Hitman, to me, 2-1, Hitman had doper rhymes. I liked the third round and what he tried to do. He tried to put on an even bigger performance, an even bigger show by bringing out Nick Cannon. Again, it just didn't seem. Nick Cannon comes out there, laughs, and shake Cassidy hand. So
yeah,
and that was taken too serious.
Listen,
and then the fight, all the fight did, all him bringing his brother out, show, what's his brother's name? Show out. No, show, whatever his brother's name, show out, I think.
Not show out, because show out rhymed in that.
Start the big melee on stage, and then because he had to come back and actually finish his verse and finish his scheme, it took away any momentum. It took away a lot of momentum because now it's just like, okay, just say your rap, like you tried it with the performance, and again, Cassidy, not only was Cassidy not affected, but neither was his camp. So when he brings Show out, he brings Show on there. The Show gets all hype and beating his fists and pounding his fists and all of that. There was a bigger dude, I think bigger than Show out, that was looking at him like, yo,
just step back.
Cassidy might have stepped to the back.
Just step back.
Saying,
step back, people.
What's the word
that's
you
what
always
he said.
use? Stage presence. That's a, that, and that goes along with performance. And like I said, it just seemed in this particular battle, you could have had Nas and Jay-Z up there, and it wouldn't have mattered. Cassidy just seemed unaffected. So, which, is kudos to him. It is something that benefits him, and like I said, that's points for him. It's points for him. But overall, I just felt like Hitman out-rapped him. And like I said, a lot of times, it's two ways to look at it. You can blame it on Hitman's execution of the rhymes, or you could just look at it as the crowd just, you know, a lot of it might have just went over the crowd's head. Now he did have those lines that made you ooh and ah in a couple of rounds when he tells you, you know, I don't know why Arsenal had the nerve to check in his pockets. It ain't been no money in there since '06 or something like that. Like he had some slick lines that made you ooh and ah. But yeah, so like I said, to me, his rhymes were better. His rhymes were better. Whereas
Cassidy had more had the
rhymes. I
personals.
just think he executed them in a fashion where, you know, the swagger was there, the energy was there, the cachet, you know, the nonchalant was there for him.
Wait, so let me time out.
Like I said,
time out. Let me ask you this then.
I can't argue. I couldn't argue with someone else's 2-1. People that were saying Hitman just got totally 30.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. People said 3-0 because of this performance.
Y'all were looking
but time out.
Hitman definitely didn't get 30.
Allow me.
It'd be hard to debate or argue with your 2-1 either, because like I said, Cassidy did put on a good performance. Especially in contrast to his last 2 performances.
Allow me.
Felt like Hitman outrhymed.
Allow me to bring to your attention, sir, the other 2 battles that I thought Cassidy won, and I didn't think he was going to win this one, so y'all can't say we just biased. Anybody who watched this show know. The one where I thought that he won, the 2 where I thought that he may have eked it out because his rhymes were better, you said even if his rhymes were dope, the other person's stage presence was better, performance was better. And now you say Cassidy's performance is better, and he still loses, even though he had dope rhymes, which I think not only did he have dope rhymes, but he had great rebuttals. He actually had personals. It was a battle of styles. If your boy Hitman was trying to battle him with personals, those didn't hit. His actual lyrics, what you're speaking about, were good. But I think the stylistically, Cassidy won. Performance-wise, Cassidy won. The rebuttals, Cassidy eked it. And just the whole fact that even after you bring out the entire production and you bring out what's his face and your brother and this and that, and you still just barely climbing or hanging on to a crowd or me, you can't win that, man. How does he win that?
Again, round for round, he out rap Cassidy. His rhymes were dope in Cassidy.
I'm glad to hear that, Jinx.
Obviously, like I said, when he stuck, and like you said, the personals, whether the crowd heard it or not, you know, when he starts to bring up, because to me that's always the mark of an MC, whether that's battle rap or anywhere else. When you're speaking facts are always going to outweigh my gun is so big it'll shoot you to the moon. Like,
and I think that's what Cass had.
To me, facts are always going to outweigh that.
That's what Cass had.
Cass just, I said, he had a good performance. Even when I think there was something in one of Hitman's schemes where he was punching or whatever like that towards Cassidy, and Cassidy was right back with him with the energy, like, yo, and the crowd reacted to that. So like I said, it's not that I'm sitting here telling you that Hitman was just that much better than Cassidy, or Cassidy's performance wasn't dope, because it was. But I just think round for round, and this is just me based off the rapping end of it. Because as I'm sitting here telling you, for my mind and my money, Cassidy's performance, his stage presence alone, and like you said, style-wise, he just seemed to have the swagger. He seemed to have the glow that night. He seemed unaffected by what the other side was talking about.
Bro, so, if you can't...
But I'm sure it's one of those battles. I'm sure if you go back and watch it and listen to what the rhymes that Hitman was saying, it's clear that
no.
He out-rap Cassidy.
I watched it twice. Cassidy. It's been a week. It's been a week. Sorry about that, y'all. But you can see the whole thing right on our Patreon, Team Box Cutter, patreon.com/Team Box Cutter. We got it all up there. no nothing, no edits, no nothing. You can see the whole thing for yourself. But what I'm having a problem with, D-Boy, is you saying that he had a better performance, he had great comebacks, he stylistically was good. If it's all just about the rap, then Joe Budden could be a better rapper. But it's all of those things.
Wait a minute.
So I'm saying it's all of those things. Like,
wait a minute.
how is it that he does all of the things a battle rapper does better, but the other guy you think had a better pen and wins? That's only 1/3 of the pie.
Already admitted to the crowd not reacting to certain punchlines, so on, etc. So
what happened to both of them?
Like I said, that's where I agree with you. A lot of times he was again. Hitman was spitting some fire, and the crowd, you know, it was just like it went over their head or something.
They did that to Cass too. They did that to Cass against Goods. They did that to Cass against Goods. No, I'm not listening. They did that to Cass against Goods. But because Goods is your favorite rapper, you acted like you didn't see that. Come on, man. Come on.
Nah,
I told you.
Cassidy sat right there. What lost the crowd with Cassidy when he says, "This is the best raps in the world." Y'all don't get it? Everybody was like, "What?" Boom,
they were horrible. They didn't get it. It went over their head.
See, I know when it's not just me. When the crowd is reacting the same way that I'm reacting at home, it's not us. It's you. It's not us. It's you.
Bruh.
He said a simple. He said like a third grade line, and as soon as the crowd didn't react to it, y'all don't hear it. It's the best raps in the world. Y'all missing it.
Listen.
And everybody was like, "What? Man, get out of here, man."
Listen.
Get out. So that's totally different. I mean, I don't know what you heard in the Goods battle, but everybody else heard Cassidy getting smoked. I don't know what you heard.
Well, I'm not sure.
Maybe you heard the same thing Cassidy heard.
I'm not sure what you heard. But Cassidy won this 2-1, and it might have been 3-0. I only give him the 2-1 because I don't want to disrespect Holla. But everybody else says the same thing, except for very few people like you. And even when they do, it comes with a caveat that Cassidy had the better performance. I'm not sure what that means, bruh. Like, he had the better performance. You saying that he didn't have good lyrics? You saying that he didn't control the crowd? You saying he didn't come to the battle prepared? You saying he didn't hit you with the 1-2?
His raps was not doper than Hitman. They were not dope.
But that's not all it takes.
He looked better saying his rap.
So
that's what I'm basically
Charlie
saying.
Clips,
he looks better saying his rap.
Charlie Clips has
his actual raps.
But wait a minute. Charlie Clips has a lot of different tools. Sometimes his raps may not be better, but his rebuttals is better, or the fact that he can go off the top is better. There's different tools. Cassidy brought more tools to the table.
DNA has that too. And some people are able to rebuttal themselves into a W. Cassidy was not. That's what I'm saying. I don't see where he round for round where he out-rapped Hitman. I just don't. And maybe for one round, like I said, in the third round, it seemed kind of crazy for me because he lost all momentum due to trying to pull show on the stage or whatever. Like then he had to just finish his verse. So, but like I said, if you go back and look at the battle round for round, this guy, yeah. Like his raps was just better. So the ooh and ah lines, those were Hitman. And then he had, like you said, personals on top of it. Like I didn't know that he met Cassidy when he was 16, and Cassidy came to his town, and
But you act
like I didn't know.
You act like he didn't say that. Wait
like I said.
Wait a minute.
His pen game was better that night.
You see?
His pen game was better that night. Cassidy had the better performance. Whatever you weigh that to be, whatever. But
I'm going to talk after you.
His pen game was better than Cassidy.
Okay. On the other hand, that same line that you're talking about, he said that because Cassidy said first in his round that was before that, he was like, you came to me at 16 because you thought I was the best rapper on earth. And so what you're saying, like one guy gets credit for because of what he brought up with the personals. Cassidy's personals didn't hit that hard to you for some reason, but they're the same personal. Like that was Cassidy's personal first.
See, what I'm saying is, I just said he out-rapped him. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say what the personal that he hit was harder than the personal that he said. Yeah, they both had personal. I'm saying the lines within the personals that Hitman pinned was doper than the lines that Cassidy pinned in his rap.
All right, really? So we agree.
I mean, I don't know how else to tell it to you.
We'll agree.
That's just it.
We'll agree, disagree. We'll agree, disagree on that one.
Because you went from inviting the girls to your hotel to living in one.
Nah, that's your favorite line. I feel you. I know you. We were talking about this for a week, and that's your favorite line.
You're not gonna get me with that. You're not gonna get me. He out-rapped him. That's all I'm saying. He out-rapped him.
Come on, man.
He out-rapped him.
I don't.
Went from inviting the girls to your hotel to living in.
I don't think that you're looking at it in its entirety, but I will say this.
And that's a fact.
I will say this.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, nigga had the hardest lines, and they were factual. Like he was the one. Yo, I got the dog. My dog house has a dog house in the backyard. It's like, yo, you went from inviting the girls to your hotel to living in one, Jack. Stop that, man. Stop that.
Listen.
Stop. And that was one of those lines. Well, the crowd reacted to that one. The crowd definitely reacted.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And like I said, that with a couple other lines in the other round, he just out-rapped him, bro. That's all I can tell. He just out-rapped him.
So.
But Cassidy, like I said, to Cassidy's credit, all those lines and whatnot, it didn't affect his performance. It didn't affect his execution. And that's why maybe it looked like, oh, Cassidy's smoking. He's on fire. But, I mean, he just, like I said, if you go back and
wait.
Now,
I want to shout out Jinx Sky. Yo, let me shout out Jinx Sky. She's about to leave.
He might have said it cocky and arrogant. We all know
there he goes.
Style or whatever. But he didn't say nothing.
Hold on. Shout out to Jinx. Shout out to Jinx Sky. She's about to leave right now. Hope you come back. She said she's about to go watch. We made it sound so good. She's about to go watch the battle right now. Go ahead and watch it, people. Shout out to Jinx Sky. Shout out to Ocean Eyes. Appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to S Formo. I typed a little something to you there. And there's someone else whose name is written in another language I can't pronounce. But hey, shout out to you too. I got you, man. We'll agree to disagree on 2-1. We'll agree to disagree on 2-1. And the fact that only reason why is because, like I said, Hitman came out the box hard. He battled through a horrible crowd. Awesome lyrics. Did his thing. All 3 rounds. And so I'm not really mad that somebody says 2-1, Hitman. I just failed to see how.
At the very least.
So
at the very least, that's a definite debate.
So I don't think
I think everybody is up in Cassidy and backing Cassidy on it.
Thank you, Ocean Eyes.
The last 2 times we seen him, he looked terrible. Like you said yourself, I don't even want to see this guy no more. Don't even put him on. He just looked terrible. And that was the consensus. So for him to come out and have an above average performance or kind of redeem himself in that department as far as his performance, because that's the thing with battle rap. As like you said when you mentioned Joe Budden, you could come out there and rap. Anybody could come out there and rap, but it won't resonate or it won't hit. Nobody will feel it because it's like that's not what battle rap is. Like that's not what battle rap is. It's a different skill set. But his performance overall, like you said, his schemes seeming ineffective, the willingness to rebuttal certain lines, matching energy, keeping his energy, like all of that was noticeable. All of that was definitely noticeable with Cassidy, and I think that's what everybody's applauding. And as well as me, I'm gonna give it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call a spade. But like I said, and just for my ears and listening to it, I just felt like Hitman had the better pen than me. That's just
all right. Agree, disagree. That's what's up. Overall, we both agreed that RB stepped their game up. It doesn't look like they're rapping in a warehouse anymore, with railings on the front like that. They stepped the game up, man. And I would say that if you haven't seen that battle, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're a hip hop fan, if you're a battle fan, you're doing yourself a disservice. It was one of the better ones this year, and already has been some good ones. We had the Halloween battle at URL. Only thing I wish I could see Big K versus what's his name, who he was supposed to battle, and not who he did. Did you happen to see A Ward?
Who did he battle?
That we'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. I can't remember his name, and I don't feel like switching all these screens live. People are gonna see all that stuff. A Ward was crazy, man. A Ward was crazy. S Formal says I agree, and I'm sure he believes that he agrees with the fact that it was just a good battle. All the cards were good. Almost all the cards were good. There's one guy named Show Off who was just not ready for prime time. That was unfortunate. He got beat by Rosenberg. Did you see that one? Show Off versus Rosenberg made him look pretty terrible.
That was a good battle. That was another battle I was anticipating. Show Off has had better performances than that one. And they were talking crazy. Both of them were talking crazy before the battle. Show Off, I'm very familiar with Show Off. He's kind of a flagship artist on RB.
Really? That was unfortunate.
Again, he's had better performances.
Okay.
Well, that particular one, he got out. He got cooked by Rosenberg. I would say that.
This
for everything, that was another battle. Like even if you say, well, in Show Off round he was cooking, when Rosenberg came with his, it was clear like Rosenberg had the better.
Yeah. There's like this side conversation going on in our chat room, bro. People talking about Pac. I don't know how we came up, but for some reason, everybody talking about Pac, man.
What they say about Pac?
Everybody showering him with love. Ocean Eyes says he's 61, but he's a huge Pac fan. S Formal says everybody loves Pac. That's not true, by the way. That's not true, by the way. Not everybody loves Pac. Not everybody loves Pac. But most people respect what he did in the game.
That's a fact.
Yeah, most people respect what he did in the game and what he meant to the culture. So you'll probably not get anybody say anything bad about that. Since we're on it, since we're talking about old rappers, we're gonna get to DMX, we're gonna get to Black Rob. Both of them have passed away, and we're just gonna give them 5 minutes of condolence, 5 minutes of condolence to their family, 5 minutes of respect for what they did each. But since we're talking about Pac, who's also gone, rest in peace, I'm here to tell you guys that I think he was a better poet than he was a rapper. And I mean that literally written poetry. His book, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, to me had more layers than any of his raps, than maybe 90% of his rap, not any. Most of his raps were pretty upfront and clear and not very, how do we say this? How am I going to say this, D-Boy, without getting slammed? I know these people are ready you ready to type on me, I know. I'm just going to say.
What we talking about, Pac?
Pac, real quick. I think that he was a better poet than he was a rapper. I think his raps had a lot of monotony. E, and hit the D, and big E, and all the E. There were so many better rappers that I think rappers that used wordplay, that used better metaphors, that used syncopation, that understood all these types of things, storytelling, that were better than Pac. But for some reason, Pac had this thing that resonated with the people that you can't take away from them. And so, since we're all since for some reason it came out in our chat, I figured I'd give my 2 cents on Pac because it's the only one that's different. Everybody else loving him up right now. So somebody got to say, listen, man, he was pretty good. He was pretty good. I mean, I don't know if he was, you know, is
don't
he?
do Pac like that.
He's
man.
pretty good, man. He's pretty good. I mean, you know, was he better? Is he?
Pac for his time.
Is he better than?
Pac was what he was. He was one of the greatest.
Is he better than RZA?
Was there more intricate lyricists than Pac? Sure. Were there wittier writers or freestylers than Pac? Sure.
I see you, S. Formo. Appreciate that.
But for whatever reason, and this is what I will say about Pac. First of all, his cadence separates him.
Okay. Unique.
His cadence separates him. And for whatever reason that is, and it's strange because Pac is somebody, he's a hybrid, meaning that he was born in New York, he spent time in Baltimore, which is hence why him and he had the relationship with Jada Pinkett, and he also lived out in Oakland. Toward the end of his life, of course, he was representing LA, so obviously he lived in Southern California too. So he was kind of a hybrid of all of those. And for whatever reason, his cadence alone, it resonated across the map like that. Some people in the West Coast might have thought, oh, we love Pac more than the East. People in the East, I know people in New York, Harlem, Uptown, Manhattan, to Brooklyn, they take their credit or whatever for whatever time Pac spent out there. The people in Jersey, that you can't tell them nothing about no Pac because of the influence and what he did with the Outlaws. Yeah, so it's just down south. His mother, I think, ended up residing in Atlanta, so he always had there's always a special love and compassion for Pac down south. It's just, I don't know. It was something different. It was something different with him. When he spoke for the have-nots. Whereas I think he wasn't afraid to show humility. Some people looked at it as being contradictory or him contradicting himself a lot of times. Whereas in one breath he would say, keep your head up to black women, and then the next he would say, you know, I fucked your bitch, or whatever it was.
And there's a dichotomy in hip hop.
Most people that knew Pac would tell you Pac was all of that.
Yeah,
Pac was every bit of that. So in one breath, where he might be speaking about the Black Panthers or our Black history and the struggles that we've endured over the years, and the next minute he might just be like, fuck your clique,
we shoot
whatever. I want to bone your girl.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just who Pac was. So, for whatever that was worth, a lot of people identify with that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people identify with that. And again, like I said, he did speak for the have-nots, spoke for the people that didn't have a voice. He spoke for people in places. I think that's a lot of times we don't look at that. Like, you'll find where people didn't have voices, Pac was big there, such as like Baltimore, or like these places that you really don't hear representation from. Pac was big in those places. So okay. Yeah, I understood it. I understood.
Yeah, I understand it.
Culture.
I feel it and understand it.
Culture, and salute. You never hear us on this platform disrespecting Pac.
Nah,
also understand your viewpoint, as we spoke about through the years, Bruce. Because a lot of people do feel like he was overrated. If that's possible when you speak about it.
I think what that comes down to. A lot of
people do feel like as though he was overrated, but I look at it in its totality and who he was and his contribution. to hip hop, and it's in its proper perspective. He was a legend, nonetheless. You're talking about a guy, his work ethic. If nothing else, and a lot of times, as I've gotten older over the years, a lot of times you say, "Oh, this guy's talented," or "This guy has potential through the roof." His lyrics and this and that. What separates a lot of the greats is their work ethic, simply. And so no matter if you disagreed with every bar, every song he came out with, or you didn't like some of them, or whatever the case, what you couldn't deny is his work ethic. I mean, Pac might still have music coming out to this day. What you couldn't deny was his work ethic. And this is a guy at the same time. It was almost unheard of to be coming out with movies at the same time. So we had a guy. He was coming out. Will Smith ended up doing it, but I don't even think to that extent, to that level, because right now you wouldn't buy a Will for the last 25 years. You wouldn't buy a Fresh Prince album,
right?
But you would buy a Pac album and you would go see his movie.
I feel you on that. Yeah, I see you on that. So
that's what Pac meant to the culture in totality.
I think when you have your Busters, and when you have just a whole lot of
his own right,
who got a so when you have people who was doing outstanding lyricism, I mean amazing work, I can understand why some people would say he's overrated. Only because when you compare him to the people who those people would say, it depends on what you're looking for. Like you said though, there's one thing you can't take away is his voice for the people who couldn't speak seemed to resonate more, and there is no comeback to that. It is what that is. He's a legend for that, right? But another person who we lost, who I think is a legend who didn't have as many times to prove it, Black Rob. You just told us about him being gone. Say that again. We'll spend 2 minutes on it, then we'll go to DMX, who I really want to talk about.
Definitely one of the greats. Everybody probably knows him for the song "Whoa." Harlem all day.
Mm-hmm.
He was different. Maybe it didn't. When you're talking about Black Rob, you're talking about the east side of Harlem. The east side of Harlem is named Spanish Harlem, which is why he named himself Black Rob. And these are facts that you got to know about the guy. Lyricist, man. I mean, there's nothing else. If you go check the first album from I Dare You to the joints he did with him and G Dep. To like I said, his hit song "Whoa," which was a platinum album, platinum record.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shouts to B Rob.
Rest in peace, Black Rob. Anybody want to say anything about that in the chat section? Go ahead and say it. Sad to see him go. I think he the thing is, man, in New York, especially when he came out, like it was already the saturation level had reached its peak. I think how the South got to rise like it did was because it had to evolve that way. And so when you have that many dope people coming out of one city for years and years that started the hip hop, people are going to start looking at the Midwest, start looking at the West Coast, and start looking at the South. So I think he just got shuffled in the mix more than maybe he should have. But I couldn't say, that he didn't deserve maybe more. But I couldn't say that he was better than this or that person. You know what I'm saying? It just got shuffled in the mix. But we hate to see him go because he was talented. Another person who did not get shuffled in the mix, who stood out for a generation almost. I mean, what are we talking about? 15, 20 years after It's Dark Outside, Hell is Hot and It's Dark Outside, or whatever that was, that first album, DMX, the legend, passed away. Everybody knows about it. We talked a little bit about when he was sick. When he actually left, What went across your mind, D-Boy Slim? What went across your mind, people? Ocean Eyes. What went across your mind, S Formo? What went across your eyes, our Indian friend over there? The language looks Indian. Um, what do you think, D-Boy?
X, man, X represented so much. I mean, I just sat here and spoke about Tupac speaking for the have-not. And I'm going to say this. I don't think there's somebody that was better at speaking for the have-nots and the people who don't have a voice than DMX. Period.
Yep.
Here's a guy who consciously, and I'm going to use that word with DMX, whether you like it or not, but here's a guy who consciously did not rap about jury, did not rap about superficial, the material cars, Bentleys, and over his career, make no mistake about it, he acquired the type of wealth to be able to rap about it, which is what most of our young hip hop artists do, is try to obtain a certain amount of wealth to go get those materials just to be able to rap about it. But that was just simply not him. He had spent so much of his life not having or having to do without that. Once I think he was able to go get them. From what I understand about X and everything that I've heard in documentaries and footage from DNY and Rough Riders and those who knew him, X would give you the shirt off his back.
Mm.
Probably, loyal probably to a fault. Now, of course, he was Dark Man X, so of course he lived a different type of life. But one would have to understand X and where he comes from in his background to really put in perspective who he was and what he became. And so I'll just say that and leave it at that and leave it on a positive note. And as far as the raps, I think everybody knows. And if you're too young to know, please, please, we have YouTube these days. It's not really hard to look up because, when we speak of this hip hop game, he's one of those names and legends. You gotta know it. Like you gotta know what that is and what he represented and how he represented it. Yeah, man. I mean, the guy obviously was talented. When we talked about it, funny thing, I see the similarity. We talked about Tupac and his work ethic. Let's talk about DMX. I think I may have been the first rapper to come out with 2 platinum albums in the same year.
Yep. Yes.
This is at the same time he was recording and shooting movies. Yeah, man, the dog used to go hard, and we've seen him stand toe to toe with the likes of Jay-Z. So if it's anything, that needs to be said about who he was on that microphone, there's footage of the what was that? The Def Jam tour or whatever, where I think they was outside rapping with one of the bellhops from a hotel or something. And Jay and DMX was out there going hard.
That freestyle, the famous freestyle battle.
Yeah, man.
So go ahead.
I heard about the stories about the famous battle in the Bronx.
They had the basement battle too.
Top of pool tables with guns out. At that time, the Rockefeller clique and the Rough Riders clique. And everybody always said that, depending on who you ask, I guess if you ask somebody from Rockefeller, they're gonna say Jay-Z won, and if you ask somebody from Rough Riders, they say D won. But one thing that's always said is that it was a hell of a battle. It was legendary. And I said that
there's footage out there.
If we regard most people in hip hop regard Jay-Z as the best or as the GOAT, the guy that was able to stand toe to toe with him on several different occasions, was the Dark Man X. So that speaks for itself, man. He has a rap career that I think that spans back to the late 80s.
Mm-hmm.
to the time that most everybody heard him when he was signing Def Jam or whatever. Get at me, dog, and the first album or whatever. But yeah, X,
So
crazy talented, crazy dope, crazy fire with that microphone. Definitely one of the all-time greats.
I got two takes. One is we don't give him, or I don't know if we don't, but it seems like it's always forgotten when the honorable mentions are mentioned, that he started Rough Riders and brought them to prominence. Without DMX, Rough Riders doesn't exist. There's no Eve after that. There's none of that. What was that? Who was the brother? Nori and all that stuff. These Rough Riders.
Well, nah, you call them the Rough Riders. That's the Locks.
Locks. Locks would have just been straight up Puffy. Drag On. Well, I mean, he got a little shine, but that height that they reached was because of DMX and him alone. He was the one that was being pushed. When he came out with that album, it was the one that blew up, that was on the radio. Leah Smith, you made it. What's up? He was the one that brought Swizz Beatz out of not really, people not knowing who he is. He did some stuff for Jay. He did this and that. DMX held Rough Riders on his back, and they won because of him. So that's take number one that we have to remember when talking about him, is that there's an entire label and people who ate off that label that exist because of his work ethic. We talk about with Pac, because he got in that studio and just made album after album after album after platinum after platinum after hit after hit. And that was just, it was the beginning and the rise of Rough Riders. Give him that credit. The next take is, you guys heard me talk about how he was a voice for people who dealt with depression, PTSD, the harsh realities of living in poverty and living after seeing horrible things. People don't really understand that you don't have to go to war in Afghanistan. I'm a military veteran. You don't have to go to war to have PTSD, because some of the stuff that you see in the poor communities that they see day to day, that they deal with day to day, is as bad daily. And in order to learn to live with that, there's a lot of people who are boasting and bragging and looking good on camera that can't sleep at night, but never choose to speak about their depression, never choose to speak about those things. And he did that. That's how I got in touch with him. When I first heard him, I remember the night I was riding in the car. My brother was there, and he put in the tape, not a CD, of DMX's first album, and it touched me in such a way I can still remember the night sky and where we were. That's how I've been yearning and waiting and hungering for someone to talk about these realities, right? And not just, oh, I'm so gangster, but oh, this affected me. My gangster affected me. My gangster affects me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like those types were the things that I was learning to hear, yearning to hear. But on the other side of that, I already spoke on that. If you guys want to see that, go check the last show we did when he was still alive. But all this week, my wife has been playing DMX. And she's not that. That's me. That's me in the basement down here in my own darkness in the black room. She's Mrs. Yellow. She's happy-go-lucky. And she found an entire week of music to listen to while she's working and this and that from the same guy. X gonna give it to you, X gonna give it to you. And that's talent. All the other stuff is stuff that you might have your favorite artist because you got your favorite artist. But when you see that someone can affect that much and that wide a range, the talent, man. And those were the songs that passed me by because it wasn't what I was listening for. But as I started to listen to what she was to every song she played, he had club bangers. He had stuff, food for thought. He had
Yeah.
pro-black. He had pro-Jesus. He had, there was a variety and a range of music that only talent can take you. And so we have to remember that when we talk about X.
He's definitely one of the legends. He's definitely one of the greats. You could go back in his catalog, and the thing about X is that sure, he had the bark and the growl cadence or whatever like that. But once he lures you in, oh man, the guy goes so deep into emotions, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Going past the surface on what all of this is and what all of this is about. Like, man, the guy, he was definitely dope. He was definitely dope. We definitely lost a great one.
And with that being said, I don't want to belabor the point. I want the people to speak. Everybody has. Leah Smith says, respect B. If you have anything else to say about it, you can type it in there. But if not, I think we'll end it there. Black Rob, rest in peace. If you guys don't know, for people just joining in like Leah, he also passed away in the past day or so. Am I right, D-Boy?
Fact.
We were respecting DMX, and we spoke about Cassidy versus Hitman Holla. Well, I think Cassidy won 2-1. But when you guys press rewind and look over this again, just put a thought in the air for those legends who we lost in the past few weeks. 2021 has hit us with a bang, and I think it's good every now and then to take a step back and take inventory of your life, your listening habits, your thoughts. Where can I go better? Where can I go? Where have I gone wrong? Who's influenced me and why? These things are things I think about every now and then when I turn the YouTube off. And I think it would behoove all of us to have a moment like that in the near future, if not tonight. And I'll end with that. D-Boy?
Well said, my boy.
With that being said, S. Formo, Leah Smith, Ocean Eyes, are my favorite Indian who I don't know the name of. You need to type your spelling on there because I don't understand the language. But you're the man. And Jinx Sky, all of you guys, appreciate you for joining us. Appreciate all of you. Peace. That's the Basement Debates.
Tap in, press subscribe. Team Box Cutter, we here. We got more dope shows on the way too.
Oh yes. If you haven't seen the Cassidy battle, the full battle, which you can't find anywhere else right now without paying $50, Team Box Cutter.
TBC,
Patreon.
Type in Team Box Cutter.
Patreon.com/Team Box Cutter. $2 become a patron. You get to see all of these battles because we put them up there. Free call, not free, but support the channel, and you get to see all of that.
Bruce. Yeah, that's the same Bruce too. Got the funny Karen show videos too for you.
Oh, they got to know that. If you need a laugh, you know we got them Karen videos for you with the expert commentary. That's it, man. We out of here.
We out here. We off this.
Peace.
Peace.